Hi everyone, I'm Tim with VitalVio, and I'll be walking you through a quick tutorial today of VitalVio's antimicrobial lighting technology. Many of you are probably thinking, what is antimicrobial lighting? Why is it important? And also, why do I care about germs? Germs are a constant threat, and these microbes can live on surfaces for days, weeks, or even months at a time. They also have the ability to spread or replicate during that time period, and to give an example, E. coli can replicate every 20 minutes. So a single E. coli colony can replicate to be north of 2 million colonies by the end of the day. Looking a bit closer at that spread or growth of microbes, we have MRSA shown here in both examples over a 4-day period. The image on the left shows MRSA under standard lighting and the amount of growth that takes place in that time period. The image on the right shows that same microbe, but under VitalVio technology and the prevention or lack of growth. Applying this to a real-world application, the image on the left shows VitalVio's antimicrobial plus white light mode. This illumination is being delivered by a single source LED that is also antimicrobial. So what you can see here is a high quality white light, but it is also has the ability for the antimicrobial capability. The image on the right shows VitalVio's enhanced antimicrobial or violet LED. This is just giving that visual acuity to the occupants that the lights are being left on for additional purposes other than illumination. And both of these LED modes meet international standards for continuous and unrestricted use around humans, so you're fine to be interacting in either scenario. Looking a bit closer at the spectrum, VitalVio's technology falls between 400 and 420 nanometers. So we are, as you can see, we are outside of the ultraviolet space, which ends at about 380 nanometers. Looking a bit closer at different microbes we impact, we can show efficacy against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, but also endospores, yeast, fungi. That might not mean a lot to some of you, but looking a bit closer at that list, things that you hear about in the news more frequently, maybe VRE, C. diff, or Listeria. Those are typically or commonly found in healthcare settings. MRSA can be found within athletics, or Salmonella or E. coli are often foodborne illnesses that can be found within food processing facilities. Looking a bit closer at how our technology works and the wavelengths impact microbes. The wavelength of light penetrates the bacteria cell in stage 1. That bacteria cell contains porphyrin molecules, and that wavelength penetrates the porphyrin molecule and creates a reactive oxygen species buildup inside of the bacteria cell. That ROS buildup is actually toxic to the bacteria cell, and it builds up so much that it eventually kills the cell from within. Applying our technology to a real-world application, the image on the left shows our current cleaning or intermittent cleaning practices that happen in most environments on the day-to-day. So you can see bacteria levels over time. So throughout the day, microbes are spreading, replicating, and growing, and not until you go in and you clean that environment do the levels go back down, and then the same thing happens day in and day out. By applying VitalVio's continuous antimicrobial technology on top of your environmental cleaning, what you can see is a statistically significant reduction of microbes in your space over several weeks. Why is it important to have that continuous application? So what you can see here is just some differentiators between VitalVio and other common ways to clean environments. Chemical solutions and wipes are definitely the most common, so going in, washing, and wiping your surfaces when they need to be cleaned, that's definitely the most common and certainly very affordable. But it's not very effective because as soon as you re-enter that space or that space becomes occupied again, you're just introducing new microbes. It's the same with chemical vapors and pulse UV. Both are great technologies for terminal cleanings, but there's not a continuous application. for either of those. Also, for Vital Veo, what I always like to point out is that there's no additional labor required. Once the lights are installed, they're always working as long as they're energized. So you might be thinking, all right, where do we want to install this technology? I gave the one example of the athletics facility at Duke University, but Vital Veo started out in healthcare. So that's definitely an obvious choice, but it's really any high traffic, high touch environment. So you want to think airports, hotels, schools. There's a lot of applications for the technology where people are interacting on a day-to-day basis. As I mentioned, Vital Veo started out in healthcare, so we have a wide variety of partners that are utilizing our technology currently and are big advocates for the technology, and we've conducted case studies with these groups. But we've also expanded our portfolio, working with pharmaceuticals and athletics and food processors around the globe. So we have a wide body of research that helps support the efficacy of the technology. But as the technology is proprietary to Vital Veo, we also have the ability to license that technology to other manufacturers, whether that's overhead illumination manufacturers, but also companies that are looking to apply our technology in a new way. So that might be Brown Newtone is a good example of this. Brown is a household exhaust manufacturer. So in your restroom at home, you'll have an exhaust system. That exhaust system likely has a light source within that. Vital Veo is now going to be that new light source for their Surface Shield product line. So that's very exciting news, getting into the consumer space. Another notable partnership that we have is with Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines recently announced at CES earlier this year that they are using Vital Veo technology on lavatories on their 757 aircraft. So Vital Veo partnered with Delta, and over a 6-month period, we were able to design, prototype, go through all the engineering practices, and get FAA approval for an aircraft in less than 6 months. So that was a huge accomplishment for our